shortstop, number 6, Patrick Custer. Batting 7th in left field, number 13, Zach Zuchowski. Batting 8th and catching, number 11, Gavin Zaworski. Batting 9th, playing first base, number 21, Andrew McGowan. On the mound for the Bulldogs, the southpaw, number 37, Carson Allison. The Bulldogs are coached by Greg Durrell, Preston Amato, TJ Kastner. Head coach for DeSales, Tim Neiman. And now, the starting lineup for the Trinity University Tigers. Batting first, playing in left field, a junior from Maryland, Texas, number 20, Ty Preston. Batting second, at first base, a junior from Simi Valley, California, number 33, Kai Tinker. Batting third, and catching, a senior from Round Rock, Texas, number 28, Tyler Pettit. Batting fourth, junior designated hitter from Brownsville, Texas, number 6, Christian Holloway. Batting fifth, playing in right field from Dallas, number 4, Ezra Gore. Batting sixth, the senior shortstop from Los Gatos, California, number 5, Michael Montreza. Batting seventh, the junior second baseman from Katy, Texas, number 2, Colt Harris. Batting eighth, junior center fielder from Round Rock, number 24, Jack Peterson. And batting ninth, junior third baseman from Boulder, Colorado, number 42, Brett Jones. And on the mound for the Tigers, first-year right-hander from Dallas, number 32, Trajan Lee. Assistant coaches for Trinity, Andrew Waters and David Smith. Head coach for the Tigers, Tim Scannell. And now, ladies and gentlemen, just as the boys have, please rise and remove your hats for the playing of our national anthem. March 17th, Boston College Kangaroos come to San Antonio to start the 2023 Southern Collegiate Athletic Conference schedule.
The only thing better than Tuesday night baseball is Wednesday night baseball, and that's what we have on tap for you tonight. Welcome back to San Antonio, Texas, where the Trinity Tigers host the DeSales Bulldogs. I'm Brian Yanselson, joined again by Cole Isaacson, ready after a Trinity loss yesterday to see what we have in store tonight.
Yeah, brutal loss for the Trinity Tigers, their worst one of the season, losing by 12 to UT Dallas, hoping to get right back on that horse, and a good opportunity tonight to respond after what was a brutal defeat.
It was a 15-3 victory for the University of Texas Dallas Comets. They drove down from Richardson, took care of business, and then drove home. One team that has not been driving home, but they've been doing their fair share of driving, the DeSales University Bulldogs, making their trek across Texas. They have been to Shriner, Southwestern, Texas Lutheran, and now they conclude their spring break trip to the Lone Star State right here in San Antonio. And we are thrilled to have them here. They're going to face Trajan Lee with this starting nine. Leading off, second baseman John Rorick. Batting second in center field, JT Andorowski. Batting third, the third baseman Gabe Diaz. Cleaning up in right field, Joe Grigas IV. Batting fifth, the designated hitter Colin Tremblay. Batting sixth, the shortstop Patrick Custers. Batting seventh in left field, Zachary Zuchowski. The catcher batting eighth, Gavin Zavorski. And batting ninth at first base, Andrew McGowan. And for the first time all year, and for the first time as a Trinity Tiger, Trajan Lee on the mound in the maroon and white. He will face John Rorick to get things going in his Tiger career. The first pitch on the way, and it's a strike for Trajan Lee.
Trajan Lee, somebody they were hoping to get into one of the games last weekend. Unfortunately, Sunday was very tight until the 8th inning where Trinity blew it open. So the opportunity just wasn't there, but now on the mound, it's his first action as a Trinity Tiger.
Lee transferring to Trinity from Dayton, the Division I program in Ohio. Tries to get a breaking pitch for the third strike, but Rorick isn't biting. Tigers have had success before coming from the Atlantic 10. Try Richmond in the form of Brian Schaub and Garrett Aylor. So they're trying their hand again, this time from Dayton. Lee evens the count up at 2 balls, 2 strikes after 2 miss there to Rorick, the first year from Swedesboro, New Jersey. The 2-2 low and outside. It'll take the count full. You can see Lee, one of the taller ones you will see on this Trinity roster. In fact, the tallest, tied with Clayton Jackson at 6'4". And his 3-2 grounded to second. Harris has it. And that's out number 1 for Trajan Lee.
Batter able to battle back from 0-2. But Lee able to get the ground out. A good start for number 32 as Colt Harris is there to back him up.
Now up to bat, JT Andorowski, who knows a little something about defense. What a play he made yesterday in Seguin against Texas Lutheran. He was playing right field, and he went back to dive, almost hitting the wall as he dove, but he still made the catch. Coach Nyman telling me a little bit about it, saying it was Sports Center worthy. He swings and misses here. Was trying to get a look at it, was watching back that Texas Lutheran stream. Unfortunately, the camera didn't quite pan enough over to right field in time, but I am taking Coach Nyman's word for it. As Andorowski lays off of this one outside, ahead in the count, 2 balls, 1 strike. Shows bunt, puts it down, but it's foul. The DeSales Bulldogs coming in tonight, 2-5. They won the first game of their Texas trip in Shriner, but then went on to lose the next 3. Trying to end it with a bang, go home, feeling happy as they get set to start conference play. They are from the Middle Atlantic Conference, Freedom, the MAC. Andorowski awaiting the 2-2 from Lee, gets away from him, and another full count to start this one off.
The 4th straight day, DeSales has been in action, all against SCAC opponents, so they continue this long road trip.
3-2 misses inside, so Andorowski will reach base.
2nd straight time that able to get ahead. Trajan Lee is, then falls behind. This time the hitter works a walk. Was able to get the ground out last time. Colt Harris there behind him, but this time not so fortunate as DeSales has their first base runner.
Gabe Diaz now up to bat. Takes a changeup for a strike on the outside corner. Diaz, the sophomore from Waldwick, New Jersey. Started many, many games as a freshman last year. A key component for Coach Nyman from the start of his career as he awaits a pickoff here. Hit .265, scored 25 times, and drove in 14. Now just a sophomore, but hitting third. Right in the heart of this order, and he sends one to right field. Gore coming in, and he makes a catch. Ezra Gore sliding in time to retire Diaz, and a nice looking play for out number 2.
Absolutely able to go and hunt this down. Knows that he's going to have to put his body on the line to go get this. Able to get low and put his glove underneath it, and a great play for number 4 in right field.
This alignment the Tigers have in the outfield with Preston in left, Peterson in center, and Gore in right is about as speedy as you can get. The first pitch to Grigas gets away from the catcher, and it'll allow Andorowski to move over to second, and I very purposefully say the catcher with some suspense because it is, for the first time all year long, Tyler Pettit behind the dish. We got a little taste of his season debut yesterday in the 9th inning. Came to bat for the first time, and now number 28 back where he looks so great, and that is as catcher.
Hit .359 last season, one of the key returning members of this Tigers lineup, missing him throughout the first month. But definitely a very important player to get back and should help them down the line as he gets his first action behind the dish.
Another one that nearly hits Grigas. He's in command of this count. 3 balls, no strikes. And if there is one guy that you'd look to in this DeSales lineup right now that can hurt you, it is Joe Grigas, hitting .429 through 6 games, showing bunt on 3-0, but that must have been just to make sure a strike gets in there, and it does. But it's a lineup that Coach Tim Nyman admittedly says is on the struggle bus right now. They're figuring things out, but he believes once they get going, their conference better look out, and he only thinks this trip will make them stronger. Grigas, so not wasting any time, ahead 3-1. Over the top of this one, though, so yet another full count on the way.
Definitely better if you're the DeSales Bulldogs. Get your struggles out of the way now in the non-conference opponents. Because as we know, you just need to make that tournament and win it. Then you're right into the NCAA tournament.
Nice take there on a good pitcher's pitch. But it'll be another walk earned by the Bulldogs. So Trajan Lee has gotten 2 outs, but he's also walked a pair. And that means the Bulldogs have runners on first and second with 2 outs in the top of the first.
Kind of seeing similar patience that we saw from UT Dallas last night. And we know what happened in that game. DeSales seems to be employing a similar strategy.
First pitch inside to call in Tremblay. One of a couple of seniors on this team that is just immensely young. And we're not even going to get out of the first inning before a pitching visit by pitching coach Dave Smith, who when asked today, what happened with his team giving up 15 runs, and he just said not executing the pitches, not fully in command of what they wanted to do. But you just got to move on, start a new day, and that's what a lot of the players were saying, Cole, during batting practice today, is just saying that's the beauty of baseball. If you're playing football like Ezra Gore is so used to, you lose once and it stings for a whole week. Well, baseball, usually you get another chance pretty quickly.
And that's something we were talking about last night. They lost yesterday, brutal loss. Any competitor wants to get right back out there, and they have that opportunity today. And trying to see how they can take advantage of it.
The only caveat to that is that after tonight, they will have to wait a little bit either way, because the Tigers take a little bit of a spring break, not back in action until March 17th, so it will be a break. No break on tap for the Bulldogs. They will head right into conference play. They're looking to get up early on the Tigers. The 1-0 skied into the shallow outfield, maybe staying in the infield. Colt Harris has it, and that'll be it. So a couple of runners reach base via the walk, but Trajan Lee gets out of it. Tigers coming to bat in the bottom of the first. Bulldogs strand a couple in the top of the first, and now a first-year pitcher, Carson Allison from Palmetto, Florida, has the task of keeping this Tiger lineup down. We'll take a look at their starting 9 as they come up to bat. It'll start off with Ty Preston, followed by Kai Tinker, Tyler Pettit behind the dish, Christian Holloway cleaning up, Ezra Gore in right field batting 5th, Montrez at short batting 6th, and with Ty Preston already in the box, we will take a look at it as they come up. Ty Preston getting it going. Lefty on lefty, ball 1. Last time the Tigers saw a left-handed pitcher, Sunday afternoon against Concordia. We saw the lefty outfielders take a rest to start the game, and then they came in pinch hitting. But not today. Ty Preston, Jack Peterson getting the opportunity to go up against a left-handed starter. Preston here, 1 ball, 1 strike, waits on the looper and sends it foul.
Yeah, we saw in that game, it was kind of counter move by both of the coaches from Concordia, Wisconsin and Trinity. They saw the righty matchup, put in a bunch of lefties, and then Concordia followed up, putting in a lefty pitcher of their own, Ty Preston and Jack Peterson, able to get good balls into play though. Able to overcome that.
Allison just misses on that last one. And another one right there. The umpire not giving him the outside corner. So Ty Preston working the count to 3-2. This is what you want from your leadoff hitter. Now can he actually get on base? He waits on the curveball, sends it to center field where Andorowski is there for the catch. So the magical catch he made yesterday was in right, but he is moving over to center field. And Coach Nyman says he is even better there, really not taking any sort of step backwards, giving Colin Tremblay the day as the designated hitter. And even though the wind is blowing, as you see there with the flags in the background, not a problem for Andorowski for out number 1.
Yeah, you want your rangy player out in center field because they have to cover more ground that way. Thinking right and left, you got to be worried more about obstacles, but center, you're kind of the bridge between the two. Also very important that you lead that communication as a center fielder.
Kai Tinker right into the glove of Allison. Look what I found. Couldn't have hit it any harder if you're Tinker. But you'll see on the replay, Allison just had his glove out, and he found a baseball.
Return to sender, as very good job hanging on to that one. Probably surprised by that, but fortunate that, hey, it's in my glove. What do you know?
So 2 quick outs for Allison, nobody on, and he'll face Tyler Pettit, who flied out to right field in his first at-bat of the year, and asked him about it today at batting practice, saying, "Thanks for giving us some suspense in the bottom of the 9th of a 12-run game." And he told me all about how it happened as he grounds it to left field. Base hit number 1 for Tyler Pettit, who said he was not planning to play yesterday. The whole idea was to give it a go today, get a couple of at-bats, see how his hand feels. But in a 12-run game, Coach Scannell looked at him and said, "You want an at-bat tonight, Tyler?" He said, "Sure, I'll give it a whirl." And he lined out nearly to the warning track, and now he is back fully catching, hitting exactly what the Tigers want to see.
Hitting 500, and the one time he did not record a hit very hard deep into right field. So a great start to the season for number 28.
Christian Holloway follows it up with a line drive single to left. So after 2 outs and nobody on, Tigers put 2 on, first and second.
First pitch swinging. Seeing the patience a little earlier from Ty Preston, but Christian Holloway wasting no time. First pitch going right after it. And some station-to-station baseball from Trinity with 2 outs.
And really, when you think back to that Tinker line drive, right on the button, just into the glove of Allison. And so those are 3 consecutive hard hit balls by the Trinity Tigers. Can Ezra Gore cash in with a 4th straight? He takes the first pitch in there for strike 1. Ezra going 1 for 2 yesterday, scoring once. But then, as so many in the starting lineup did, exited pretty early on. Waits on one inside. Gore giving me a great quote today, saying, apart from moving on, that this is a train that once it leaves the station has a one-way ticket through Iowa, in his opinion. Iowa, of course, the site of the Division III World Series, and he truly believes that the Tigers are headed back there. They just need to get everything in order. Ezra Gore puts it towards the gap, and it's over the head of the left fielder, Zuchowski. Pettit comes around to score. Holloway coming behind him. He comes around safely, and it's a 2-0 lead with the Ezra Gore double.
I'm a little curious if Christian Holloway's run is going to count or not, because I thought that might have hit the post of the scoreboard as it bounced up. We'll see the replay here and see exactly what happened. It doesn't seem like they're calling it back. So it looks like there's not going to be any issue. Yeah, it did hit the post.
You're right.
But it doesn't look like they saw it, so that run's going to count.
Umpires do have a discussion. Don't see Christian Holloway back at third yet. Although that's what the catcher Zavorsky wants.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what they're saying. Montreza's staying in there, so it doesn't look like they're putting Christian Holloway back at third base. So I think this will be a 2-0 Trinity lead.
Interesting there. So a break for the Tigers, who get 2 runs instead of 1 on what looked to be a ground rule double from Ezra Gore. Montreza, first pitch swinging into the 5.5 hole, but a diving stop will keep the runner at third. No, Gore coming home, and he is out of there. Custers with the heads-up play after diving to stop the ball from going into the outfield. Makes a quick throw home and makes the third out of the inning.
Trinity choosing to be aggressive here. Ezra Gore going to try and make this 3-0. Has a great diving stop, but I don't know that he's going to be able to throw first in time. Fakes that way, but then sees Ezra Gore running and decides to get the lead runner. And close based on that replay, but I think he got him.
And it's so funny, Cole, that Mike Montreza was telling me today that he is just stunned both ways at how many balls infielders are able to get to this year because of this new turf, saying that for Trinity's side and the opponent's side, it just, you see a ground ball hit and you think it's going to be a base hit for you, and then suddenly the infielder gets there. That's exactly what victimizes him there.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talked to the coaching staff about this, particularly Brian Waters and Tim Scannell. Hard hit balls not getting through anymore, something that would give a hitter confidence when they hit the ball really hard, hits like a bad patch of grass and gets through. Not something that you're seeing anymore, and that was an example. Shortstop able to make a really good play because it's a predictable bounce.
So the Tigers get those 2 runs in the bottom of the first thanks to the Ezra Gore double. And now Trajan Lee has a lead to work with after leaving a couple of runners on. We'll see what he can do with an advantage. And on that point about the turf, Coach Nyman was saying he could use one of those up in Pennsylvania, where he thinks it would actually be more useful in the north where they can't get outside much because of bad winter weather, saying that would really help with the upkeep more than he thinks, at least it does in Texas. So after stepping foot on this turf, saying maybe I will get myself one of those. And it helped his shortstop, who, as it so happens, is the first one up to bat in this inning. Isn't that funny?
Absolutely. Custer's making the great play, getting that third out of the inning, saving his team a run, now trying to get his team on the first track to getting their first run.
Custer's the sophomore from Newton, Pennsylvania. Very similar to Diaz, started many games as a freshman, 26 of them to be exact. And he hit .286, so he's right back in there as a sophomore. Down 0-2, and he's very late on a breaking ball. Looked like that one was already in the mitt when he swung, and that's a punch-out for Trajan Lee.
Seeing the adjustment from Trajan Lee, had some 0-2 counts in that first inning, was letting hitters get back into it by throwing it outside the zone. Goes right after him, collects strike 3.
Strike 1, 2. Zuchowski on a matchup that could be very well happening on a basketball court. 6'4" versus 6'4". Zuchowski sends it foul towards the DeSales bullpen. And Lee ahead. Once again, no balls, 2 strikes. He put away Custers. Looking to go outside, meeting the glove of Pettit. A little too outside, though, not baiting the hitter. Lee takes a deep breath now into his motion, right back into the turf.
Saw him go right after Custers and collect strike 3, trying to get a swing and miss out of Zuchowski. We'll see if he chooses to go after him, working this count back to 2-2.
Lee tries to go inside. Zuchowski able to get enough of it to stay alive. You won't hear this nearly as much as we said it yesterday, where we just said transfer, transfer, transfer for UT Dallas, but Zuchowski is a transfer for DeSales. He came from Mercer County Community College. So this is his first season with the DeSales Bulldogs. The 2-2 to him. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Beautiful changeup from Lee. And that's back-to-back Ks for the transfer from Dayton.
You see him going after him again. Throwing something in the zone that's very hittable. And will collect his second strikeout of the inning as 1 out away from getting out of it very quickly.
Catcher Zavorsky looks at 1 outside. Junior from Feasterville, Pennsylvania. Breaking ball hits the top of the zone. Strike 1.
An impressive pitch with a lot of movement. Breaks out at the last second.
Pettit tries to frame it, but he gives Lee a sign of affirmation, even though it's called a ball, hitting the spot. So we'll see if he can continue doing so. The 2-1 to Zavorsky, breaking ball, strike 2. Lee able to get those breaking balls over for strikes here in this inning. We saw him use a changeup for the strikeout last at bat. What does he go with here? Fastball low. At 6'4", Trajan able to get a great downhill angle. That's what Dave Smith loves about him. Here he goes with the breaking ball that hits Zavorsky. Would have been ball 4 either way, so the Bulldogs get a runner on. 2 outs now, 1 on.
This all starts from a great take from Zavorsky. Fastball low. Looks like it could have dotted that corner. So that's a tough pitch to take anytime it's close and you're on 2 strikes, but able to do it and get the hit by pitch to take first base.
Now comes the first year from Collegeville, Pennsylvania, who, in his first year in college, got a hit yesterday. Pettit loses that one in the turf, and that'll allow Zavorsky to advance. So a hit by pitch and a pass ball. Maybe a wild pitch, we'll see what they say. Allows the Bulldogs to get a runner in scoring position. But yesterday, McGowan, his first career hit against Texas Lutheran. Congratulations to him. Now looking for an RBI to go along with it. Waits back on a breaking pitch. And he's ahead 2 balls, no strikes. Fists it inside, and it's gonna fall in front of the dive of Preston. Zavorsky saw it late, but he's gonna score anyway. And after his first career hit last night, first career RBI for Andrew McGowan.
Ty Preston going to lay out for this one. But actually does a pretty good job keeping that in front of him. Sometimes when you dive for it, it's easy for the ball to leak behind you, but able to get his glove on it even though it hit the ground. And while the runner still scores, able to keep McGowan at first.
Top of the lineup back up in John Rorick. Runner going, chopped over to the third baseman. Long throw made in time by Brett Jones. But a 2-out rally for DeSales gives them a run on the board. They cut the Trinity lead in half, 2-1, headed to the bottom of the second. Tigers score a pair in the first. DeSales strikes back with one in the second. And now Colt Harris will look to add on for the maroon and white. He's the leadoff hitter. Takes strike one from Allison, who only made one appearance this year. Through an inning, gave up a hit and a walk against MIT on February 26th. Lands a strike for number 2 there. Pretty fun early season matchup there against Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Harris rolls it the other way to his second base counterpart. And it's out number 1 as Rorick there with plenty of time.
Next up for the Tigers, center fielder number 24, Jack Peterson.
Now Jack Peterson will get his shot at the lefty-lefty matchup. On Sunday, he was so excited to get a hit off of a lefty. Now Coach Gano rewarding him with the start. Shows bunt, takes strike one. Another breaking ball filleted to right field, and it's a base hit for Jack Peterson. So once again, lefty on lefty, no problem for the center fielder.
Yep, continuing his success against left-handed pitchers. All over this one, hit really hard. I was surprised it hit the ground that fast with how hard it was hit. But a base hit for number 24 as the Tigers have somebody aboard with one out.
And now another season debut. We've seen so many of them at this point. Brett Jones swinging early, fouls it straight back. Great to see Brett Jones in there, Cole.
We've already seen a lot of Brett Jones defense, able to make the play at third to end the inning. As you see him in practice, has not seen a game yet, but his defensive plays can make a lot of them.
And he gets a ground ball through the hole for a base hit. So in his first start since April 10th of 2021, Brett Jones getting a base hit.
Yep, already a great play at third, and on top of that, finding the gap between third and second base. Is able to move the runner over and get himself on board while he's at it.
Ty Preston will now come to bat. So often as the leadoff hitter is the one tasked with setting the table, well, the table's set for him. Runners on first and second with one away, and there'll be a visit to the mound as Allison has another sign of trouble after giving up 2 in the first.
Yeah, this is a pretty key situation. As last time it was a 2-out rally by Trinity. 2 quick outs, but able to bring 2 runs in. One of them shouldn't have counted, but I think the Ezra Gore going for home, being caught there, kind of negates that a little bit. But either way, in danger of giving up a few more here. Already Jack Peterson in scoring position to worry about.
Coach Nyman told me that today might end up being a little bit of a smoke show when it comes to his pitching staff. He's going to have to pull out some real magic tricks to handle a staff that is pitching in its 5th game in just 4 days, a doubleheader against Shriner, and then not resting any days in between matchups with Southwestern and TLU. Yesterday, they lost 10-1 to the Bulldogs of Seguin. And so he expects to see a lot of arms for not a long time, trying to keep his rotation fresh. Allison, the first of those in there. Just the bottom of the 2nd, but he's given up 2 runs and has 2 runners on with the top of the Tiger lineup in the form of Ty Preston here. Step off, look at 2nd.
Jack Peterson, definitely somebody you want to worry about out there. 7 for 7 in stealing this season.
Bunt shown. Instead, it gets away from Zavorsky, so Peterson won't even have to steal 3rd. He'll just take it easily. Jones right behind him takes 2nd, so now a base hit for Ty Preston could score a pair.
We saw Trinity get out to a 1-0 lead yesterday. That did not prove to be enough, so you have to take advantage of your opportunities when you get them, when you want to really sink a ball club. Trying to get a 3-run lead here.
Zavorsky able to block this one in the turf, but he's had an adventure in this at-bat already. 2 balls, no strikes on Ty Preston. He waits back, pulls it to the right side. Toss over to the pitcher covering, gets the out, but Peterson does score. Infield playing at its normal depth, gives up the 3rd run of the ball game to the Tigers.
Yep, wild pitch, costing DeSales a run. That's what allowed Jack Peterson to get over the 3rd base. And all it takes is a ground ball to the right side for Ty Preston to get an RBI. And it's a pretty similar story to what we saw UT Dallas do yesterday. Bottom of the order, setting up the top of the lineup to drive him in. And that's exactly what happens with Ty Preston driving in Jack Peterson.
Ball inside to Kai Tinker to start off his at-bat. The senior from Simi Valley, California, lined it right into the glove of Allison, his first time up. Looking to drive home a buddy from 3rd. Puts it up into the air, foul. Zavorsky, no shot at it, just receives it from the net. Tinker had an RBI yesterday in that 1st inning to give the lead you were talking about, Cole. Sends it up the middle once more, gets past Custer's at short. Another run batted in for Kai Tinker. 4-1 Trinity over DeSales.
That's almost exactly the same spot he hit it when he lined it into the glove of the pitcher. This time no glove in the way. Able to put it right between short and 2nd for another RBI from Kai Tinker.
In just the 2nd inning, the Tigers have surpassed their run total from last night. A 15-3 loss to the Comets of UT Dallas. Now 4 runs on the Bulldogs. Strike 1 to Pettit. Look at that average, 500.
Yeah, 500, and the only one he didn't get a hit on. Honestly, hit better.
That one's hit just as hard, but foul.
It's a good start for the Tigers, already up 3 runs. DeSales losing by 9 yesterday and then by 8 the day before that. So this is a real opportunity for Trinity to get right. They have to take advantage of it.
0-2 from Allison, way outside.
No baseball team is just going to lie down and not try, even though they've had 2 rough losses. So the Tigers need to show up. So far, it's been happening. Trying to continue this 2nd inning.
Similar miss there to even it up at 2 balls, 2 strikes. It was really an interesting storyline coming in because both of these teams took punches to the face. A 10-1 loss for DeSales, a 15-3 loss for Trinity. They both had to get right back at it who would respond better. Right now, it's been the Tigers, but Allison gets the swing and a miss, strike 3 to end the inning right there. 2 runs come around, just like they did in the first, giving Trinity a 4-1 lead on the way to the third.
1 Tiger left on base. Through 2, Trinity leads 4-1.
Four-1 Trinity lead in the top of the third inning. Trajan lead, a little bit of an advantage to work with. Had a great second frame. After walking 2 in the first, struck out 2 in the second. Starts off with a swinging strike. Andorowski up to bat for the second time. He was one of those walks in the first. Takes strike 2. That one dives down into the turf. Andorowski able to lay off.
Trajan Lee's done a great job of getting ahead in counts. It's just been the next few pitches that have been the difference, is whether the batter reaches or not.
That one up in the zone, a little chopper to first. Tinker takes care of it, out number 1.
That time able to collect the ground ball. One of the few times he's been to 0-2 and not let it get much further, as these hitters have proven that they can battle back. But that time, Trajan Lee able to get the quick out.
So it brings up Gabe Diaz. Fakes the bunt attempt to draw the third baseman in a little bit. Brett Jones will back up behind the bag. So not too convinced about that bunt. And he's not showing it, instead swinging away. Tinker makes an attempt and flips over the fence. Acrobatic effort from Tinker, who won't make the catch, but in Olympic gymnastics, a 10 out of 10, no doubt.
No doubt about it. Nearly makes the catch, actually. Loses his glove, but yeah, 10 out of 10. I agree, Brian, as he lands in enemy territory, but trying to sacrifice to make the play. That ball a little further in, he would have been able to catch that.
Now Diaz pulls it to Jones. The throw a little high, but look at the gymnastics from Tinker. I'm telling you, if he uses this eligibility from baseball and then wants to transfer to somewhere like Centenary that is known for gymnastics, I think he can give it a real shot. Look, I mean, just the perfection, the landing on the bag.
He should reach out to us. We can send him in a tape. But making his 4th start, and you're seeing why. Making most of his starts at first, which is where he is tonight, but you saw him start at 3rd last night, and you're seeing the athleticism that allows him to do that.
This one misses to Grigas. 1 ball, 1 strike. I feel a whole lot nicer than a lot of the gymnastics commentators, though, who, upon seeing someone do something that no other human could do, would say, ah, a terrible, terrible mistake on the balance beam. And I'm just watching saying, are you kidding me? I would have fallen on the first attempt and probably broken something. But my commentary on Tinker, total perfection. I think he should give it a shot.
Absolutely, you nailed it. As we're collecting some good film on him.
USOC, just give Tiger Network a call. We're here for you. The 2-2 from Lee, little inside, no. Strike number 3, Griga's not in agreement. But nonetheless, third strikeout for Trajan Lee, who gets the benefit of nailing the spot where Pettit wanted it. We'll take a look at it as we head to break. Trinity 4, DeSales 1, headed to the bottom of the third.
Pitching change for DeSales on the mound for the Bulldogs. Right-handed sophomore, number 41, Ian Malone. Leading off for the Tigers, designated hitter number 6, Christian Holloway.
Trajan Lee catching a little bit of a break there in the top of the third on the final strike, but he'll certainly take it, and the Tigers get right back up to bat where they've scored 2 in the first, 2 in the second. What will it be in the third? Christian Holloway, the first to try to answer that question, and he'll do it off of a new pitcher for DeSales, Ian Malone, in there, replacing the starter, Carson Allison. First pitch to Holloway, a little high.
Holloway able to get a hit in his last at-bat. Trying to get another one as he was a part of what is a 4-1 lead for Trinity.
Pumps it right past the bat of Christian there, does Malone, who is a sophomore from Bayonne, New Jersey. Takes his time looking into Zavorsky, now ready to fire. Gets it right to the glove, and it's a strike. We saw it yesterday, and we've seen it early today. Pitchers being rewarded for hitting the catcher's target. Where does Zavorsky set up? Outside 1-2. Malone leaves it a little higher than he hoped and keeps Holloway at the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
This is a really good 2-strike pitch. That ball just going to break down at the last second, using it to break down to the top of the zone. Very close, but does not get the call.
That's more where he wanted it, lower. Holloway still not fooled by it, and he has 3 balls, 2 strikes. A patient at-bat by the leadoff hitter, Holloway. And he gets this one to short, but Custers gobbles it up, and it's the first out.
Really patient at bat, and I think that's going to be a key for the Tigers today. DeSales playing their 5th game in 4 days. These are some worn-out pitchers. And the more pitches you can make them throw, the more arms you can make them go through, the greater chance of success that you're going to have.
Well, one thing we know for sure, they're going to go through plenty of arms. Can each of them answer the call and do their respective job? Ball 1 to Ezra Gore from Malone. The exact way Coach Nyman phrased it, a smokescreen and magic act. When talking about what it'll take tonight. But at the end of the day, he's just happy to be here in Texas. Loves this trip for his program. Said in the mid-2010s, they used to take this Texas trip. Did so for a few years, and they switched it over to Florida. But now they're back in Texas for the 3rd straight year. In the turf to Gore, so he's ahead 3 balls, no strikes. Malone in his only outing of the year went an inning against Marymount back on the 24th of February. Walked a batter, but that was it. Didn't give up a run. Delivers a strike to Gore. Malone's got to be careful with Gore, who doubled in his first at-bat. And he has an advantage in the at-bat. And the umpire keeps it consistent. The inside part has been called a strike, so that's what you want to see. Gore didn't love it, but it's 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Yep, going both ways. As this will keep the at-bat alive in what should have been ball 4.
Now that's ball 4, and Malone took a little trip off the mound, it looked like. Hope he's okay on the turf. Something several guys have mentioned to us this year. It does take a little getting used to, the cleats in the turf. Looks like he's back okay, looking at the ankle. But now communicating with his infielders with the runner on first, Gore, the walk, and Montreza stepping up to plate. Montreza has been swinging early and often, and Gore right now has a massive lead, and he is off, and he's going to be there before the throw even gets there. My, oh my. I mean, he was at second base before the pitch was even delivered.
This is unbelievable. 19 stolen bases last season. And that one, no doubt about it. The throw even gets away later, but an unbelievable lead by Ezra Gore. He went for it and was rewarded.
So he is now 6 for 6 on the year on stolen base attempts, and that one may have been his best work. Montreza looking at it the other way, lands foul. There is just not much Ezra Gore can't do. He plays football in the fall, baseball in the spring, does both of those extremely well. Plays linebacker for the football team that went to the 2nd round of the playoffs. And in many ways, baseball is his stronger sport. All-region player for the Trinity Tigers. And there he is, bouncing off of second, and he's going to third. Montreza puts it into play. The center fielder, no, the left fielder will call it, and Gore gets back in time.
Yeah, good heads-up play by Ezra Gore. Once you see Montreza getting under this, you know there's a risk that this is going to be caught, and Gore was already at third base when this was hit. So he's got to go back. And you saw the pump throw there. I thought that the center fielder was going to come up firing. But Gore basically already back, showing the speed that he has.
Nice little play out there by Zuchowski, calling off the center fielder, avoiding the collision. Now 2 away. Harris at the plate, and there goes Gore, and not even a throw. It's not even worth it. Ezra Gore, 7 stolen bases in 7 attempts. cleans his goggles a bit, and he's a one-man wrecking crew, now 90 feet away from scoring. Colt Harris will try to bring him home, or might just have to stand to watch Gore steal home. Not going anywhere yet, little dribbler. Foul.
Doubt he's going to steal home. Gusrick Gore probably going to need some help to go the rest of the way, but he has done all he can to put the Tigers in position to get their 5th run. As we see his aggressiveness on the base pads continue. Tried to get that extra run in the first inning. Was caught, but has not been in this inning. 2 for 2 so far.
Malone gets a sign from Zavorsky. 1-1 delivery to Harris. High, ball 2. A lot of it has been Gore. A lot of it has been Jack Peterson. But as a team, the Trinity Tigers taking full advantage of every extra base coming into this week. Before the UT Dallas game, before tonight, they were first in the conference in stolen bases with 25. But not only first in the conference, Cole, 22nd in the nation. And there are a lot of teams that play Division III baseball, over 200 of them. So to be anywhere near the top of any category is incredibly impressive. And the stolen bases so far have been a story for the Tigers.
Yeah, around 380 teams in Division III baseball, some of them just getting their season underway. But Trinity just trying to find ways to manufacture runs with this turf. That's what we've seen them working on in practice through basically the entire time that they've been doing it. Working on stolen bases, hit and runs, bunt coverage, and bunting itself. Trying to find any way to advance a runner and make it easier to score runs because they know that the turf is just going to swallow up runs.
After the visit, Malone gets a strike at the top of the zone. You may think we don't keep track of sacrifice bunts, and you would be so wrong. Tigers have 8 sacrifice bunts this year, 14th most in the country. So we are not lying when we tell you Trinity trying to manufacture runs. Harris to center field. Andorowski ranges over to make the catch. So at the end of the day, Gore's efforts on the base paths will not lead to another run. Malone able to work around it and get back to the dugout despite some nice contact from Harris. So after 3 innings in San Antonio, Trinity 4, DeSales 1.
Leading up for the Bulldogs, designated hitter number 14, Colin Tremblay.
First pitch of the 4th inning, a ball from Trajan Lee to Colin Tremblay, senior from Fort River, New Jersey. Changeup lands for strike 1. Tremblay, someone that Coach Nyman describes as the best defensive player he has ever coached. But tonight, the designated hitter to give himself a little breather. But as we mentioned on Andorowski's side, not a demotion whatsoever for DeSales, because Andorowski is right up there with Tremblay defensively. Right now at the plate, though, Tremblay getting ahead in the count. Over the top of that one. Lots of movement for Trajan Lee. Even on 3-1, not going with the straight fastball down the middle. Now the full count is down the middle, but Tremblay can't get to it. But the movement, we'll get a look at this replay. Take a look late, how much it goes down. It may seem subtle, but just look at the downward movement of that ball. Man, baseball is a hard sport.
Absolutely. Trajan Lee able to get a lot of movement on his pitches. And a lot of late movement, like you highlighted very clearly. One of the few times he actually had the battle back in account was getting ahead so much.
And now take a look at how quickly he is working. Getting the ball, stepping on the rubber, getting the sign, and going. This one's lined to short. Montreza won't get there. It'll be a base hit for Patrick Custers. Maybe that'll slow the rhythm of Lee just a little bit. Only the second base hit Trajan has allowed.
Yeah, an important hit. You could tell he was getting into a rhythm. Just gets on this one and barely past Michael Montreza.
First pitch swinging is Zuchowski. Make it hit number 3 for the Bulldogs, and he's going to test the arm of Preston. Out of there! Not sure what Custers is looking at. A play right in front of him. Preston basically in the infield when he got this ball, and that'll be something the Tigers take every night.
Yeah, Ty Preston going to run up and meet this baseball as it slows down in front of him. Going to step and throw almost immediately. Perfectly placed so Brett Jones can get that tag down. Really close play. But Ty Preston able to make it and basically stealing out.
One good aspect of that play for the Bulldogs, Zuchowski backing the runner up and now advancing to second, so still a runner in scoring position. But it was an opportunity for DeSales to build a little something. Instead, 2 away. And the catcher, Zavorsky, at the plate. Big swing and a miss. Action starting to get going in the Tiger bullpen. But Trajan Lee wants to make sure he finishes this inning. Lots of noise coming from both dugouts. Lee, the 1-1. Strike 2.
Trajan Lee in his 4th inning of work, so valuable after the Tigers had to burn through more than a handful of pitchers.
Strike 3 called. Trajan Lee pumped up after that one. 5 strikeouts in 4 innings of work. Just 1 run. And a smirk from Lee as he fist bumps his catcher. Not sure if that'll be his night, but if it is, congrats on a great debut. Look at the replay here. Pettit wanted it high. It ended up a little lower than he wanted, but enough of a strike to get the umpire moving.
Yeah, missed the pitch, but did not miss over the middle. Still able to get a good location on the outside part of the plate for strike 3.
Tigers up 4-1, headed to the bottom of the 4th. Pitching and defense doing the day for the Trinity Tigers. Offense helping just enough so far. leading to a 4-1 advantage. Really, what a masterful job Trajan Lee has done. You said it perfectly, Cole. After giving up 15 runs yesterday, this Tiger pitching staff needed some positivity, and so far, Trajan Lee has given them that.
Yeah, came into the day with a 2.7 team ERA. That now up to 3.5, I believe. Still 54th in the nation. So it shows you how good they've been.
Peterson lays down a bunt, slides into first, but he's out. Excellent play by the charging third baseman Diaz. That's a speedy runner in Peterson, not an easy play whatsoever.
No, not easy at all. We talked about the sacrifice bunt numbers that the team has. It would be even more if Jack Peterson weren't so good at reaching when trying to bunt. Done it twice this season, not able to do it there.
Brett Jones not giving us much time to talk about him. Got a hit early in his at-bat the first time. This time grounds out to second. So 2 pitches, 2 outs for Malone in the bottom of the 4th.
Definitely a change of pace from DeSales, for DeSales. Long, drawn-out innings, definitely something that they didn't want playing their 5th game in 4 days. This has been really fast. 2 outs in the blink of an eye.
Strike delivered to Ty Preston. 0 for 2 on the day, but drove in a run. Little pop fly, left center field. Zuchowski, no! Drops the fly ball. Preston will stay at first safely. Little ping pong action in left field out of the glove of Zuchowski, who had it and then didn't.
Yeah, he's going to close his glove too early. I think he feels like he has it, so he starts to pull it down, and the baseball just kind of leaves it. A tough break there, but something the Tigers going to try and take advantage of. We talked about yesterday, Trinity giving UTD second chances consistently, extra outs, extra base runners. Trinity granted with an extended inning in this one, trying to take advantage of it.
And baseball's just a hilarious game, isn't it? Kai Tinker, first time up, absolutely missiles a ball, and it's caught by the pitcher into the glove. That little pop fly, no problem at all, except on the catch, pops out of the glove. So it won't be a hit for Preston, it'll be an error against Zuchowski. But it's something Coach Scannell talks about every day in baseball. You will see something you didn't expect, and it is truly the most random of all the games.
Absolutely, just depends on where you hit it off your bat sometimes. I was talking to Jack Baker a lot earlier in the year, and he said, you know, this can be one of the weirdest games. You can hit a ball perfectly, hit it really hard, and somebody makes an incredible defensive play in the outfield, dives and robs it from you, and you can hit a ball barely at all, and it's just going to bloop right into the perfect position, and that's how you get on base.
And what this does in this inning, very similar to Ezra Gore, a walk or just a one-base error can turn into a double or a triple quickly. Preston 3 for 3 on stolen base attempts, timing his lead right now. And there he goes. It's a good one. No shot at all. He'll slide in for good measure, but a stolen base for Ty Preston. Tigers now a runner in scoring position.
Trinity in business. Ty Preston allowed to reach. Now he's going to go into scoring position with Kai Tinker still up to the plate. Currently hitting .429 on the season. That's why he's hitting as high in the order as he is. Real opportunity for Trinity to cash in.
He pulls it down the line to left. Foul ball. Right beside the foul pole. There's a net there for a reason. And Tinker will have to make the trot back to the batter's box after hitting it right on the screws.
We have not seen a home run here in a few days. Nearly get it. As Kai Tinker just going to put this opposite field. But not quite, just barely foul. And that could have been catastrophic for DeSales. You allow Ty Preston the reach, and then the next at-bat, Kai Tinker brings both of them in all at once.
A lot softer this time. And the pop-up caught by the first baseman McGowan. An error in left field gives DeSales a little bit of heartache, but they get out of the bottom of the fourth without any further damage. Trinity 4, DeSales 1, headed to the top of the fifth. We weren't sure if Trajan Lee's night was done. Well, the answer here in the top of the fifth, not so fast. The sophomore transfer from Dayton is back out there to face the DeSales Bulldogs, and what a night it has been so far for 32. Massive hack and a miss by number 21 McGowan. Already 5 strikeouts for Lee. Just a few hits, 3 of them. But his command has been on point from the start after a couple of walks. A visit to the mound from pitching coach Dave Smith settled him in, and it has been pretty smooth sailing since. Does get behind McGowan here. But Trajan, when asked about why he came from Dayton, saying he always wanted to come to Trinity, but he got that Division I offer, and he wanted to give it a shot. Something he didn't feel like he could turn down. Didn't get to play last year for the Flyers, so spent plenty of time being recruited by Trinity, wanted to come back home to Texas, and now here he is in the maroon and white. The 3-1 from him, a ground ball to third. Jones ranges over, the throw over to Tinker, and Brett Jones continuing to establish himself over there at third. Another nice play.
Yep, able to run out in front of this one. This turf can slow the ball down a little bit. Got to go up and meet it. And able to make the throw on the run, right on the money.
That was one of the rare instances in which Lee didn't get ahead of a hitter. Here, a first pitch grounder to Montreza, charges it. His throw on target and on time. So Trajan Lee, after being a strikeout machine, using his defense behind him.
Yeah, you can see the confidence in this defense. They've played so many more games on this turf, really understanding which way the bounces are going to go. And you can see the confidence that they have in making plays.
When describing Lee's potential, pitching coach Dave Smith says, one word, elite. Truly elite stuff that he has, can mix his pitches well from that high angle. And we are getting a great glimpse of that tonight. Wide with that delivery to Andorowski. But a pair of ground outs to start the fifth. And trying to escape with full 5 innings, nearly hits Andorowski. Pettit says settle down a little bit, keep it in the zone. But as these midweek games so often do, giving chances to guys who haven't played yet, finally gets some. And Lee has taken advantage thus far, gives up a single here to Andorowski in front of Gore. We'll see if he's granted the opportunity to get out of the inning or if one base runner will do it. So far, no sign of a visit. So Lee will stay there on the mound.
No sign of a visit. Not the first hit he's given up, but the key thing is that he's doing it with 2 outs. Getting 2 or 1 out very early in the inning. And even if DeSales can get somebody on, put in a position where they can't really make a mistake.
Gets the strike to start the at-bat against Diaz. Big lead over there for Andorowski. Lee notices. Very early in his season and career, Andorowski 3 for 3. on stolen bases, and he has a healthy lead once more. Not going anywhere, the inside delivery. And Diaz put his hand up a little bit as if there was a missed sign. Maybe there was supposed to be a steal there. Won't know for sure. There you get a great look at the lead. As Lee finds the turf. 2 balls, 1 strike. Lee takes a moment to breathe. Stares out to center. Now back on the rubber. Slide step right now maybe is what's giving Lee some trouble. Hasn't had a ton of runners on first, especially ones that could run like Andorowski. So perhaps that rushing leading to this 3-ball, 1-strike count. And ball 4. Diaz works the walk, and the Bulldogs have a little 2-out rally here.
Yep, and there's going to be a meeting here. We'll see if this is just a change or a visit. Pitch count up to 80 now for Trajan Lee.
Puts his head back in frustration and gives the ball to Dave Smith. He'll walk off to applause from the Trinity fans in attendance, and his team will greet him entering the dugout. 4 2/3 innings gone by Trajan Lee, 5 strikeouts. But he does leave a couple of runners on for DeSales here in the top of the 5th. A double-edged sword. We were talking about it in the break, Cole. Do you let him go feeling fully confident, ending his outing with a strikeout? Or do you try to push it a little bit, extend him for the rest of the year, get him to try to go a 5th inning, but also risk leaving him with 2 runners on?
I think that 5th inning's just really valuable, especially with the amount of pitchers that they had go yesterday. As you see, Jack Martinez is going to be the replacement, but I think you're just able to extend him. That was going to be pretty valuable in this game in particular. But I think he should still be going into the dugout with some confidence in his outing, even though he's going to leave those runners on. Only 1 earned run allowed so far. Is responsible for the 2 on right now, but was able to get 2 outs before letting them reach.
And quite the dangerous spot for Jack Martinez to enter. Not only runners on first and second with 2 away for DeSales, but their cleanup hitter. And boy, has he been cleaning up. Joe Grigas will be the first to greet Martinez out of the pen. Had a great outing the other day, Cole. You were on the mic for it. After a rocky start against Birmingham Southern, looking more like the freshman that we saw last year, now a sophomore.
Absolutely. He's been put into some high leverage situations here. This one, no different. As tying run at the plate for DeSales, an opportunity for the Bulldogs to get right back into this game. Jack Martinez is going to try and shut it down. And that's what you have to do when you're thrown in to these situations.
And I, for some reason, still feel the need to repeat it when he comes in, especially with so many viewers likely from Pennsylvania tuning in. It is Martinez, not Martinez, as we are used to in Texas. French heritage in the family, so Jack Martinez, the pitcher for the Tigers against Grigas. First pitch to him, in the zone, strike 1. Grigas has some pop. The only homer of the year for DeSales off of his bat. Looks at one in the turf. 1-1. Grigas turns around one and gets it into left field. 1 run will score. Preston cut off. And the 2-out rally continues for DeSales as Grigas continues his early season raking.
Yeah, Grigas in a big spot there, able to drive in the 2nd run of the day, but a good job by Ty Preston, keeping the runners at 1st and 2nd. Very valuable. Letting the 1 runner score to make this a 4-2 game, but not putting 2 in scoring position either.
And the DeSales dugout alive and well. Ball 1 delivered to Tremblay. Martinez in that last outing against Concordia to put some numbers to what we were talking about. 2 1/3, 5 strikeouts, no runs allowed. So out of 7 outs, 5 of them were punch outs. Gets a swing and a miss there from Tremblay, who is 0 for 2 tonight, but has plenty of capability in that bat. Has started all 4 seasons for the Bulldogs since the moment he arrived in Center Valley. Takes a breaking ball, strike 2.
We talked about kind of the resurgence of Jack Martinez. Started against Hardin Simmons, was thrown into a 4-4 ball game in extra innings, gave up a home run, but then got 3 quick outs. His team able to pick him up on the back half of the 10th and give him the win.
Looks to go back with the breaking ball. Unable to reach the top of the zone though, so 2 balls, 2 strikes. Bulldogs runners on first and second, 2 away. 1 already scored for the Bulldogs. Couldn't ask for a better pitch there. Strike 3 called, and Martinez gets out of it, allowing just 1. And that'll be the day for Trajan Lee as well. 2 earned runs allowed by the transfer. Martinez able to keep the lead intact at 2. We'll take a break, headed to the bottom of the 5th. Trinity 4, DeSales 2.
Leading off for the Tigers, the catcher, number 28, Tyler Pettit.
Wind is blowing on a beautiful night in South Texas, and Tyler Pettit will lead off the bottom of the 5th. Little roller to short. Custers collects on to first. 1 pitch, 1 out for Malone.
Exactly what you want to do. You want to extend the number of pitchers that you're going to get into this ball game as long as you can. And 1 pitch out is going to help with that.
And you can hear it as he steps to the plate. Christian Holloway apparently has 2 walk-up songs, one of which I am more a fan of than the other. That one was Justin Timberlake. I think the Mark Anthony just gets everyone going, though.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. That's probably his better one.
Strike 2 to Holloway. Malone not messing around this inning. A 1 pitch out to Pettit. Now ahead on Holloway. Already going well past his first outing, which was only an inning. Back on the 24th of February. The 0-2, high and inside.
Brian, I can't help but notice that Christian Holloway, once again, using the glow stick.
Excellent observation, and we mentioned yesterday investigative reporting was needed. Well, investigative reporting was done. There is an update. After this 1-2, which turns to 2-2, that is Jack Baker's bat. That is the famous Baker glow stick.
Okay.
And Holloway was the one that actually approached me and said, I was hearing the talk about the glow stick and just wanted to make sure you knew it was Bake's. But it was right in front of me after his at-bat. It's a little lighter. Wanted to work with it. So he went with it, and now he has it again. So he must like it just as much as you did from the moment you laid eyes on it.
Absolutely. Love that orange bat. Jack Baker likes it as well. He says he hates the color, but kind of similar thing to what Holloway was saying. Jack Baker just likes the bat itself. So rolling with it.
Not even needing it, though.
No, not needing it. Able to work the walk. But the power of the glow stick, I'm sure, had something to do with it.
So now just think if you match the glow stick with Mark Anthony. Imagine the possibilities there.
I don't think I can even fathom it.
We'll have to really test it out. Christian, if you're listening afterwards, you know what you have to do. He does what he needed to do there, draws the walk, though, and brings up Ezra Gore. Waits on one low, staying perfectly in his stance. As we saw last time, a walk to Gore might as well be a triple. Stole second, stole third. Didn't come around to score, though. That was one step too far. He's got Holloway over at first, ahead in the count, 1 ball, no strike. Thought about it there for a moment. Thought it was high. Umpire says, nope. It's an even count.
You think about the complexion of this inning. As Holloway was down 0-2 already with a one pitch out from Tyler Pettit. Think how quickly this could have been 2 outs, but Holloway able to stay patient, battle all the way back, and work the walk. And now in position with only 1 out on base with Ezra Gore up.
Holloway not quite the threat to steal that Gore is, or that Preston is. But Malone still keeping an eye on him. And more. Pickoffs galore. Holloway only 1 steal a year ago. And he played in a lot of games, so it's not like he didn't have the opportunity. This year, no stolen bases so far. Gore able to see one in the turf. For Malone last year, made 8 appearances, all of them out of the bullpen. Ended up going 0-1 with a 9 ERA across 10 innings thrown. But the start to 2023 been a lot cleaner for number 41. Has to deal with Gore, the 2-1 outside strike. Gore not liking what he is seeing in this at-bat. And it finds him with 2 balls, 2 strikes. The DeSales fans love it behind home. And they are waving. Got to talk to them before the game, as I did last year. Fun to see our friends from Pennsylvania back into town. As another pickoff. But they were much happier this year, Cole, our friends from Center Valley. Saying last year it was cold when DeSales was in town. This time it's warm. And I have to agree with them. It's been much better weather this week.
Yeah, starting to get a little humid here in the 2-1-0. But overall, great weather in the 70s. This is more of what I came here for. It was 40s a few weeks ago. And I was thinking, this is not what I signed up for.
The 2-2 to Gore, lined the other way. Trying to keep it fair. Not quite. Running into the gate there is Grigas. And Gore will have to make his way back to the batter's box. But what commitment from those DeSales fans. They have been on every part of this trip. They went to Kerrville to watch them play Shriner. Then they went to Georgetown to watch them play Southwestern. Finally, Seguin last night and San Antonio tonight. They have been staying in San Antonio, though, for each of those nights, just like the team. And they have been making their trek to those respective schools as they are required. Ball misses high to Gore. 3-2 the count now. But that's the beauty of the Southern Collegiate Athletic Conference. You just jump on a couple of highways and you can reach most of the conference.
Yeah, everything within driving distance of each other, as DeSales fans, I'm sure, appreciate. Able to get away from that cold Pennsylvania weather. Get some nice Texas weather.
Gore now draws the walk, lays down the bat. And both Christian Holloway and Ezra Gore battling back, taking the count full and earning base on balls to now put a dangerous situation for the 5th-year shortstop.
Yep, Michael Montreza coming up with a big opportunity. DeSales able to get a run back in that last half inning. Trinity hoping to punch right back as we will get a visit for the Bulldogs.
Malone has been doing well. Had thrown 2 innings without allowing a run, but now 2 walks in this frame concerning Coach Nyman, and that'll be it for Malone. So he will leave with runners on first and second, 1 away in the bottom of the 5th. Trinity 4, DeSales 2. Slow jog in from the bullpen made. And a nice round of applause for Malone as he heads to the dugout. So don't go very far. We'll take a quick break and be back to see the new DeSales pitcher.
Pitching change for DeSales. On the mound for the Bulldogs. Sophomore right-hander, number 34, Mike Romano.
Welcome back to Tiger Network, where the Tigers have runners on first and second, just 1 away in the bottom of the 5th. And the new pitcher for the Bulldogs, Mike Romano, the sophomore from Spring City, Pennsylvania. And someone Bulldog fans will be thrilled to see back on the mound. Coach Nyman hinted at it before the game. Wanted to get him a go today. His first pitch to Montreza, lined into left. Rude awakening for Romano, and it'll load the bases for the Tigers. Holloway can't go very far, but the hard hit balls continue for the shortstop.
The juxtaposition between these at-bats. Ezra Gore and Christian Holloway able to hang in there and work walks. Michael Montreza firing away on the first pitch. And he will load the bases for Colt Harris.
Romano has been dealing with some arm injuries since January, so he has not made an appearance yet until tonight. First pitch he delivered a single, and now he is in all sorts of trouble. Colt Harris has hit a grand slam before. Gets a good pitch to hit, but can't get the bat off his shoulders. Strike 1. In fact, Colt Harris has 2 grand slams in his career, both of them coming last year. One of them at Wolf Stadium, home of the Missions. One of them here at Trinity. This one will be a grounder to short. 6-4-3 double play. And welcome back, Mike Romano. Bases loaded with 1 out, no problem for him. Gets out of a major jam.
This is exactly what DeSales needed. Harris, so many opportunities to drive in a run, but the Bulldogs able to collect the double play, and they're hanging around here in Trinity.
Hanging around is the perfect way to describe it. It's felt like Trinity's been up for most of the game, and they have, but it's just a 2-run lead headed to the top of the 6th, so stay tuned. A good finish on the way in San Antonio.
Leading off the 6th for DeSales. Batting in the 6th spot, number 6, the shortstop, Patrick Custer.
DeSales looking to ride the wave a little bit after that momentum shift. A double play with the bases loaded, and now the bat's back up. Patrick Custer is first pitch swinging over to right field. Gore gets in there and makes the catch. So between Montreza, Harris, and now Custer, as these hitters not letting many pitches go by.
No, they are not. Jumping on that first pitch, but Ezra Gore able to take care of it. And it's Jack Martinez, a quick start to this inning. Getting that first out in the blink of an eye.
Martinez gets a first pitch strike on Zuchowski. Waits back on it and past the glove of Brett Jones over there at third. He's been able to vacuum everything up thus far, but this one a little too hard hit. Zuchowski for the 2nd consecutive time on base with a hit.
Yeah, that's one of those rare hard hit balls that's going to get through. Brett Jones just not able to make the play, as it just goes through his glove. But exactly what DeSales needs. Base runners trying to build something and tie this game eventually.
For DeSales, it's a little misleading when you look at the schedule and the results that they've had: 2 wins, 5 losses, and especially on this Texas trip, you might think something's wrong as this one's pulled foul. A 10-1 loss to TLU, an 8-0 loss to Southwestern, but you really have to dive in deeper. It was a 1-0 game against Southwestern until the 6th inning, and 3-0 until the 8th. Then the Pirates got some runs on the board and ended up winning 8-0. And it was a very similar version in Texas Lutheran last night. The final score was 10-1, but it was 2-1 until the 5th. And Coach Nyman telling me that the pitching kept them in it. It's just been the hitting that he has said is, quote, a struggle bus right now. Haven't been able to muster anything yet. But once they do, he truly believes they will be on track because of the defense and the pitching that they've had so far. But the hitting, as it has been all season long so far, not there right now. A strikeout for Martinez on Zavorsky, and now 2 away in the 6th.
I think that's pretty similar to what we saw at Concordia, Wisconsin. They hung around and hung around. Yes, they lost those last 2 games, 7-1 and 7-2. But those were 1 or 2 run games headed into the 8th inning. Trinity just able to blow it open late, as those much closer games than the scoreline would suggest.
Changeup gets a swing and a miss from the 9-hole hitter McGowan. Martinez trying to work around that 1-out single. Zuchowski still over there at first. Pettit gets in front of that one outside, 1-1. But I love the quote from Coach Nyman, exactly how he phrased it. As long as they throw strikes and catch the ball, we'll be in a game. That's all I can ask for. And it really is. Sounds simple, but sometimes baseball is simple at its core. Throw the ball, catch the ball, hit a little bit, and you might win more than you lose.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what UT Dallas did last night. They did a lot of the little things correctly. Trinity struggling with some of those details, particularly yesterday. Extra outs, extra base runners, extra bases given, and 12-run loss is what happened. So tonight they have been much better in those areas of the game.
And Martinez continues to be much better this inning. A strikeout of McGowan gets him out of the inning with just that hit allowed. 4-2 remains the advantage for Trinity over DeSales. It's a close one in the Alamo City. Tigers trying to add to their advantage here in the bottom of the 6th, 4-2. Junior from Round Rock will get things going. First pitch, a swing and a miss. Peterson got a single his first time up off a southpaw. Then tried to get a bunt for a hit. It was a good one, but Diaz had an even better play. And the infield a little shifted over now. Diaz creeping up a little bit. And Romano landing it on the corner. He's ahead 0-2.
Jack Peterson not scoring up to bunt this time. As we've seen, not afraid to call a bunt with him up, knowing that he can reach. But with 2 strikes, definitely not going to do it now.
Fouls that one off. Romano mentioned he's coming off some arm injuries. Great to see him back. Last year made 16 appearances out of the bullpen. Misses high here. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Had a 3-2 record with a 6.65 ERA across 21 2/3 innings. But he's another one of those that you have to take a step further than just looking at that ERA. Unable to land that breaking ball, so an even count. He gave up 1 or fewer runs in 14 of the 16 games that he pitched. And that's because 12 of the 16 runs that he did allow came in just 2 games. So you take those 2 games out of it, as Custers runs this one down in the shallow outfield for out number 1. You take those 2 outings out of there for Romano, and it is a much more stellar line. But obviously, the coaches look well past the numbers. They know what they've seen, and he's someone that they really want out there.
Yeah, I think you're seeing that tonight, as he's been able to stop the bleeding a little bit. This was a 4-run game. Trinity a chance to blow it open. Able to keep his team in it, and his offense able to get a run back in the process.
Now Brett Jones at the plate for the 3rd time, has a hit and a ground out. The most he has seen is 2 pitches, so we'll see if he gets a little longer of an at-bat here. He will. Takes one outside. 2 balls, no strikes. Brett Jones, the junior from Boulder, Colorado, making his first appearance in nearly 2 full years. Last time, April 10th of 2021.
Good to see a fellow Coloradan out there. Boulder, about 2.5 hours, 2 hours-ish from where I live. I'm assuming also choosing to go to the warmer weather here in Texas.
Strike there down the middle with the count at 3-0. Romano trying to fight back. But Jones, yet another example of a story we've repeated over and over. Guys getting an opportunity that didn't last year. Big swing and a miss here to take it full. But whether it's Tinker or Bowman, the transfers we've seen, but on the mound, guys making their first appearances, first starts yesterday, like Jack Schmidt. After 10 seniors leave yesterday, new guys have to fill those holes, and Jones has been one of them tonight. Here, a second ground ball to second for the 2nd out of the inning. We'll leave the Tigers with nobody on, 2 away, and the top of the order back up.
Very important for DeSales to get those outs early. Forces Trinity in a position where they don't really have room for error. As the order will flip over to Ty Preston.
Breaking ball gets away from Romano. That time in the zone on Preston. From the Houston area, Pearland to be exact, says his favorite athlete is Craig Biggio. Not a bad favorite athlete to have. He's been hitting very similar to Biggio early in the year, up towards 300. And someone Coach Tim Scannell says is just an unbelievable piece to their puzzle. A guy that's very unique to what they usually have, and he loves them in the lineup, as you can tell by how often he's been in the number 1 slot.
Yeah, really trusting him at the top of the lineup. Called Ty Preston a few weeks ago their best player right now, as he continues to look for guys to separate themselves, A lot of ambiguity coming into this year about who would play where. But he knows that Ty Preston is a guy that he wants to work into the lineup when he can.
Continues to battle it, just fouls it the other way, forcing Romano to work. We are in the 14th game of the year for the Tigers. And Preston already playing in his 11th game compared to 10 a year ago. His eye, a big reason for that. As the leadoff hitter, working the count, making the pitcher work. And he's doing it once more here in the 6th.
Yep, want to be patient, set the table, extend that pitcher as much as you can for the guys behind you. And doing a good job by working this count full.
3-2 delivery from Romano. You guessed it, fouled away by Preston.
And it's been that combination. Patience to take pitches outside the zone, even though it might be enticing, but also the ability to get hands to a baseball and extend the at-bat that way.
We'll try the 3-2 once again. This time it's in play. Rolled to short. Custers needs to throw it quickly and does to retire Preston. That's a 1-2-3 inning for the Bulldogs thanks to Romano. And they'll come to the plate in the 7th, just down 2.
Top of the order to you, second baseman number 7, John Warren.
Jack Martinez continues his relief role. He came in for the starter Trajan Lee. Beautiful first pitch breaking ball. Gets the first strike. He's gone an inning and a third so far. 2 hits allowed, but 3 strikeouts out of the 4 outs. And after the movement on the first one, look at the speed on the second. Martinez toying with the leadoff hitter Rorik right now. What does he go with? 0-2. Little outside. But Martinez, someone who drew high compliments from Coach Smith before the season started. Someone he said, you just look at him and you know he improved. More movement on that off speed. Martinez takes his time, gets the out at first. But more than anything, it's been the increase in velocity that caught people's attention when he came to camp. He is sitting low 90s and reaching up to 94. That is a massive increase from where he was last year, and something that makes these coaches very excited about what he could do.
Yeah, absolutely. That improvement in velocity, definitely noticeable. But the improvement from this entire pitching staff, you see it in the numbers. We talk about it all the time. But just the amount of individual players that came into this season physically better than they were before. And that's the main reason why this ERA is basically cut in half from last season.
Andorowski to left, Preston there to make the catch. 2 outs in the 7th. Sometimes Martinez can draw out at bats when he starts giving up walks, but not this inning. Getting straight to work and 2 outs to bring up Diaz. Got it where he wanted it there, but the umpire saying it's a little low. Of course, that increase in velocity doesn't just happen overnight. Diaz pulls it down the line. And it's out of here. Gabe Diaz pulls one over that big left field fence and pulls the Bulldogs to within one.
First home run we've seen in this ballpark in quite some time. Believe it's been over a week since the third game of that Babson series when there were quite a few that left the ballpark. Just going to pull this one to left field. Very similar to the home run derby. We saw Austin Davidson hit 2 out to that higher part of the wall. As this one, even though that wall juts up towards left field, towards that foul pole, going to get over with no issues as the Bulldogs are within 1 now.
Within 1, and their best power hitter at the plate takes a strike outside. Grigas 1 for 2 on the day. Before that last solo shot of Diaz was the only Bulldog with a home run this season. Tries to check his swing. Did he? Yes, he did. Everyone looked around for a bit, but the first base umpire says strike 3. Martinez still a fist bump with his catcher after giving up the home run. DeSales pulls to within just 1 as it's time to stretch. And that angle, there we go, that's a better angle. Oh, we'll get another one as we had to break time to stretch though, but we'll stay right here because this has been close from the start and it continues to be cool.
Yeah, and that's the type of games that DeSales have been playing. You talked about the scores. While they're getting out of hand late, they're hanging around these ball games and not letting this one get away from them yet, as it is a 1-run ball game as we're in the final third of it.
It's a very proud baseball program hailing from Center Valley, Pennsylvania, in that Middle Atlantic Conference on the Freedom side. But they have made 9 NCAA tournament appearances, winning their conference 8 times. And way back in 2003, so 20 years ago exactly, the Bulldogs made it to their first and only World Series. All of that happening under the leadership of Tim Nyman, entering his 34th season, leading DeSales. What a journey it has been for him, saying that he sticks around because, 1, I don't know what else I would do, in his words. And he says these kids keep him young, loves the game of baseball, and wants to stick around to try to get back to a World Series before hanging it up.
An unbelievable story to this program. A down year for them so far, but saying that feels like they're going to be a lot better later. And based on that track record, no reason to doubt them.
Romano will remain out there with his team now down 1. Tinker, the first batter for the Tigers, looks at a first pitch breaking ball for a strike. Bulldogs haven't won their conference, though, since 2008. They were the 4th seed in the tournament last year, won the first game of their series before falling in the next 2 to Arcadia. This year, they have been picked to finish 4th once again. But they truly believe once they get rolling, they can surprise some people up there in the Northeast. At the end of the day, while they want wins, this Texas trip is more about seeing elite competition, playing all of these games in a short time frame, because that's what a regional would be. That's what Coach Nyman wants. And he has gotten good competition in a short amount of time, and maybe they could get a second win tonight.
Yeah, right there, hanging around in this ball game, trying to get this win. Trying not to let it break open, but the prep that DeSales is going through, trying to prepare for that conference tournament. When your season comes down to a conference tournament, it's all about getting hot at the right time. So if you start early and struggle like this, then it's not the worst thing in the world.
Romano, a smile as the ball makes its way around the infield. Not totally sure about that call inside. We saw one earlier, and this one goes in favor of DeSales, sending Kai Tinker back to the dugout and Tyler Pettit to the plate.
Yeah, I kept making my point because I thought that was a ball and I was going to continue this at bat, but we've seen it called both ways. Pitch inside, called for strike 3 yet again, as that'll be the first out of the inning.
Pettit gets a hold of one into the gap, down for a base hit.
So just as quickly as Kai Tinker strikes out Tyler Pettit, right back on it, able to reach once again. as it has been a strong start to his season. Wanted to be back a little earlier, but taking the time that he needs to get healthy. As second hit of the day for number 28.
Up now, Christian Holloway, the cleanup hitter for the Tigers. Ball one to him. DH 1 for 2, scored once, also drawn a walk. Taking a look at the signs delivered by third base coach Andrew Waters. Chops it up the middle, Custer's over, flips to second, on to first. Another Bulldog double play to end the 7th inning. Right when they need it most, they have gotten it tonight. And we head to the top of the 8th with the Bulldogs down 1.
Leading off for DeSales, designated hitter number 14, Colin Tremblay.
Colin Tremblay will try to get things going for DeSales. 4-3 ball game in the top of the 8th. Little dribbler foul to start the inning. Martinez still out there after giving up a solo shot in the top of the 7th to Gabe Diaz. DeSales just making that slow creep back. Perfectly located fastball there for Martinez. We were talking about his velocity increasing, and didn't happen just by coincidence. He said he worked so hard during the summer. Misses with a breaking ball there, but still ahead 1-2. Said he would go to the gym, really focused on eating right, improving his body, and all of that helping to an increased velocity. Also saying that he chose to do that and focus on his mechanics and improving what he does on the mound rather than going to summer ball. Saying he still has plenty of time for that. Multiple summers still in his career as a sophomore. And at least in the velocity area, certainly that time has paid off. And in his last outing against Concordia so far tonight, looking better on the mound as well. The 2-2 blown by Tremblay. Get a little glimpse at the velocity there.
Seeing the velocity from Jack Martinez, so valuable, especially at this level, when not everybody is going to be hitting that. So a lot of these hitters seeing 94 for the first time in a very long time.
We do have a radar gun on top of the Trinity dugout. Maybe in a little bit we can get a peek at that. Off-speed delivery for Martinez starts the at-bat. So when you're expecting 94 and then you get a slider to start the at-bat, what do? Well, Custers will try to figure it out here. Takes a fastball outside. This time the off-speed hangs a little higher. Custers puts a good swing on it, but foul.
Jack Martinez giving up the home run in that last inning. Pretty similar to his second outing. It was against Hardin Simmons, gave up a home run in the 10th, but that was the only thing he did and was able to bounce back really quickly in that one, just like this one.
Beautiful dip on that pitch. Another strikeout for Martinez, and he's got it going on now.
Able to change the way he's throwing the pitches. Changing the eye level of the hitter, throws a few high and then drops it at their feet. And still has that velocity to get the strikeout.
Change the perfect word for the changeup. And look at it again, folks. It is just dropping off the table. Zuchowski has had some of the better swings of the night for DeSales. Was far away from that one. And then a fastball, nearly a strike. But the rhythm clearly there for Martinez. Gets a thumbs up from his catcher, even on the miss, and right back at it he goes. 1 ball, 1 strike. Changeup is masterful right now. 1-2. He struck out Tremblay, struck out Custers. Zuchowski down. 1-2. Pettit inside. Fouls it off.
Trying to fight that pitch off, able to do so and stay alive. Trying to throw Martinez off of a rhythm, which he is in a good one right now.
He has so much to work with. The 1-2. Won't cut it. Long delay. First base umpire saying he did not go around. Looks like the right call. So the 2-2, right on the corner. Strike out for Martinez, strikes out the side, and he looks electric tonight. The best we've seen from him. Keeps this 1-run lead going for the Tigers.
Jack Martinez, another strikeout. It clearly in rhythm. Using a pitch that's going to break inside on the hitter. Breaks into the zone. And he is feeling it right now.
He strikes out the side. And how about 7 strikeouts in 3 1/3 innings? Out of 10 outs that he retires, 7 of them via the K.
Well, that means he's throwing it in the zone, not beating himself, not allowing hitters to reach by way of the walk. Going to make DeSales earn getting back into this game. When you have a lead, that's the philosophy that you want. They can be patient all they want, but if he's going to keep throwing it in the zone, they're going to have to beat him that way.
Tigers hoping to add a little insurance in the bottom of the 8th. And they'll do it off a new pitcher. Another first year for DeSales. But for DeSales, they're not all that surprised by being in San Antonio. Talked ad nauseum about their visit to Texas this year. Well, they did it last year, and they did it in 2020, which is a memorable one for sure. On March 11th, 2020, the Bulldogs were getting ready to face the Tigers. And that's when we got an email from former Trinity president Danny Anderson saying school was headed home, campus was shutting down, and sports were canceled. DeSales and Trinity continuing with their game despite that. Coach Scannell heard the news from athletic director Bob King. He relayed it to Tim Nyman. And they decided that they were going to play because at that point, as Coach Nyman told me, DeSales was not ending anything. They were seeing the Trinity Tigers on multiple ends, not only the baseball team, but other teams around the building in tears because their seasons were over. Tim Nyman saying he walked into the Bell Center and some female athletes were just absolutely distraught. Nobody knew what the future held. It wasn't until the next day DeSales found out the same fate. It's the first pitch here in the 8th to Gora ball. Coach Nyman received a call from his athletic director in the Philadelphia airport saying, you got to get home, get to the dorms, and head home. Your season's over too. And as we sit here on March 8th of 2023, nearly 3 years to the date of that decision, amazing to revisit because it allows us to see how far we've come. Now back at the baseball diamond, back at sporting events without masks, without a concern, and just so happy to have DeSales back into town and baseball back. As Gore will be retired for the first out of the inning, but no matter the result of this game, we're just happy to have it.
A long road back for everybody across the country and across the world. to get back to some form of normal. You said we had sporting events, a lot of masks having to be worn, and now back to some normalcy as Trinity baseball back in full swing after the events of 2020.
Montreza shows bunt before taking a ball. That game between DeSales and Trinity, the last on Trinity's campus for 10 months. Outside strike to Montreza. 1 ball, 1 strike. Just so hard to believe all that transpired after that day. The phone calls, the tears. These teams experienced it all. Tigers trying to continue one thing, though, from that year, and that's a win. They were somehow able to gather themselves, put in a lot of guys who didn't necessarily get a lot of playing time before then. The seniors weren't sure what to do eligibility-wise, but the Tigers pulled out a win, and they've done so the last several times against DeSales, looking to keep that win streak alive. 2 teams that have faced each other a total of 14 times. This is the 15th, and the Tigers are 12-2. The 2-ball, 2-strike delivery to Montreza, a looper. That's strike 3 called. Montreza gave up on it early, thought it was outside the zone, but the umpire had other thoughts.
A wide zone being called tonight on both sides of the plate. Is that one borderline pitch, but gets the call. Big 2 outs for DeSales. Important to not let this inning get away from them, as we've seen it happen these last few days for them. Hanging into ball games late, but then just 1 inning that's been killing them.
Zach Rothermel has 1 more domino to push down. That's Colt Harris, who lines it to right field, giving chase, and making the catch is Grigas. So a 1-2-3 inning for Rothermel, the first year from Bartow, Pennsylvania. Gave up a run yesterday against Texas Lutheran in 1 inning, but looked clean there.
Went right through the Trinity lineup. That's exactly what DeSales needed. Want to get that offense right back out there. And their final chance to get back into this game.
4-3, the Trinity lead, and Jack Martinez will look to seal the deal. We told you it would be a good one, and we didn't lie. We'll take a brief break, headed to the top of the 9th, and be right back. Crunch time in Texas. Trinity 4, DeSales 3. It was an early lead for the Tigers, and they have been kept off the board since the 2nd inning. Bulldogs pulling 1 run in 3 different innings, the 2nd, the 5th, and the 7th. And they enter the 9th down just 1. Martinez remains on the mound, and the Bulldogs going with a pinch hitter. Umpire calling time here as the junior Travis Kerr steps to the plate. First pitch, a changeup strike to Kerr.
Trinity was able to get 4 quick runs in this game, but nothing since, as Martinez is going to try and shut it down. Gave up the 1 run on an opposite field home run, but other than that, Martinez has been lights out.
Kerr dealing with the late movement, fouls it away. 1 ball, 2 strikes on the pinch hitter. So far this year, just 4 appearances, 6 at-bats. But being called upon in a big-time moment for the Bulldogs. Pinch hitting for the catcher, Zavorsky. The 1-2 from Martinez in the turf. Kerr able to hold back, even the count.
Big responsibility for the bottom of the order here. 8 and 9 hitters up for DeSales, trying to flip it over and give them a chance.
Puts it into play, but soft contact in the infield. Montreza out number 1.
Kerr able to hang in there for quite some time, but Martinez able to get him under it and get the important first out of the 9th inning.
Another pinch hitter. Looks at a wide ball. Dylan Drew, the graduate senior from Trenton, New Jersey, and he's got some pop in that bat. 2 home runs last year, hit 300. Looks at a changeup for strike 1. He is doing whatever he wants right now with the changeup, is Martinez.
That's the pitch he likes to work with. Throws it to righties and lefties, as we've seen throughout this game. Doing so in this one very effectively.
Goes to it again there, and once again, ahead in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes on the pinch hitter. The top of the order is next, so Martinez wants to get this out. Goes high on Drew. Pettit, though, congratulating him for getting it where he wanted it. Drew just doing a better job laying off. The 2-2 fouled the other way. Drew staying alive.
Finding a way to hang in here. It would be very important for DeSales to get this runner on. Set the table for the top of the order.
They will not. The changeup drops off the table again. Strikeout number 8 for Martinez.
Jack Martinez absolutely lights out. Electric throughout the entire night. Does so again, using the changeup wherever and whenever he wants.
Fastball fired in there, strike 1. Pitching coach Dave Smith said he thought he would see Martinez as a closer, not a starter. Well, here he is in the 9th inning. Strike 2 called on Rorik. And Martinez using his fastball, using his slider, using his changeup. What will he go to on 0-2? The delivery to Rorik. Ring him up! Strikeout number 9 for Martinez seals the deal for the Tigers, and they get a 4-3 win over DeSales.
Jack Martinez, without a doubt, the player of this game. 4-3, DeSales slowly battling back in this one. But once Jack Martinez took over, he put it on cruise control. He was able to shut down the DeSales offense for the most part and get the save and the Tigers' victory.
What a job by Jack Martinez. 4 1/3, 9 strikeouts. None bigger than the one here. Rorik just had no shot at it. The changeup fooling them and the fastball beating them. And Jack Martinez told us at the beginning of the year, Cole, what should fans know? And he said, well, they should know that they're going to be seeing me for a long time to come. Just a sophomore from Corpus Christi, with performances like that, he will be around for years.
Absolutely, and it shows the it's going to add that value of having 2 ace relievers. We saw Harrison Durow, somebody they really like to use in those situations. He's starting to come together against Babson and against Concordia, having really good performances. And then with what we just saw for Jack Martinez, the Tigers have 2 really good relievers that they can put in the tight situations.
Valiant effort by DeSales, concluding their Texas trip at 1-4. So they will be headed back to Center Valley, Pennsylvania, with just 1 win in their pocketbook. But no doubt they are on for a good season, so congratulations to them on coming down, enjoying the South Texas heat, and now headed back to Pennsylvania. A 4-3 loss at the hands of the Tigers, who are going to be thrilled with the bounce back after a 15-3 loss to UT Dallas, completely erasing it from their minds. And like so many of them said today, baseball allows you to live another day, and they took full advantage.
Yeah, live another day, getting right back on that horse. The Tigers doing so and getting their 9th victory of the season. Definitely going to want to improve on adding on. We were able to get the early lead 4-1, but not anything after that for the offense. But this pitching staff, the rebound that they had, using over 5 pitchers yesterday, only 2 today, both of them showing their best stuff, as Trinity going to walk away winners by 1.
Winners by 1, winners of 7 straight against the Bulldogs from Pennsylvania. And they are going into this mini break of the season feeling good. But don't worry, the 17-game homestand does continue just a little bit longer for the Tigers. They'll have a spring break, but they're back in action on March 17th against Austin College. Excited to have SCAC play kick off in the Alamo City. Thank you so much for joining us on this Wednesday night. It's been a beautiful day in Texas and a beautiful night for baseball. Thank you to everyone who made it happen, the amazing angles that we got on replays and check swings and everything. So thank you to everyone who worked. Thank you, Cole, for all the great commentary and conversation as always. And thank you most importantly to you at home who joined us. For Cole Isaacson, I'm Brian Jenselson signing off on a 4-3 Trinity win.